Hi friends! Today I want to talk about everybody's favorite topic, and by that I mean no one's favorite topic, readability formulas. I am always curious when people say to me, we need to write to a 4th grade reading level, or we need to write to an 8th grade reading level. So my first question to you is, what 4th grader are you talking about? Are you talking about a 4th grader who is a really great reader and has fantastic language skills? Are you talking about a 4th grader who maybe isn't as interested in reading and also doesn't really have a situation where parents are reading to him or her every night? And maybe that's not a value in the home. And so now which 4th grader are we talking about? Because we have millions of them in this country. So that's the first problem we have with readability formulas. The second problem we have is that they don't take into account what reading comprehension, which is what leads to literacy, really is. So reading comprehension is made up of 2 different things. The first thing is a visual processing that's happening in the brain as you read. Can your eye and your brain work together to decode the shapes of the letters in order to create meaning? So when you see the letters D-O-G, immediately you know it's a dog. The second thing that's happening is the combination of words together to create cadence and rhythm in the way that you read. So, for example, we use punctuation in order to make that happen. As I'm talking, I'm pausing, I'm rising, I'm falling. Good writers know how to mimic the sound of language so that it makes it easier for people to read and comprehend. Readability formulas can't really get at some of those issues because they're designed to look at certain particular parts of writing. For example, the length of sentences or the length of syllables in a word. But if you're describing supraventricular tachycardia to a patient, you need to call it supraventricular tachycardia. By the way, SVT does better on search terms. So if you are writing about it, you're going to want to use SVT because that's what patients call it, because pronouncing supraventricular tachycardia takes a lot of time. But the important thing to know is that that could bring your readability formula up, but that's not necessarily making it harder for the person to understand. If anything, you're educating them about what's wrong with them so that they can make better decisions. So listen, let me tell you something, Ahava. What do you think I should do about this? And the answer to that is definitely run your content through some of these readability formulas. I personally love Hemingway because I think that it tells you how many passive sentences there are and it gives you a readability level, but I don't believe in looking at the readability level. I like looking at it within the context of all the data Hemingway gives me to figure out if the content makes sense. If you want to know the best way to test your content, read it out loud. If you read it out loud and you think it sounds understandable, it probably is. Want to test it even further? Read it out loud and then listen back to yourself reading it. Or Microsoft Word now has the ability to read it out loud. And then the last thing you can do is read it to a 4th grader. I'll see you next time.